I'm going to begin here by asking, I mean, originally I wondered whether Bayfield was in this for the money. In the opening stages, I wasn't quite sure of his intentions. But he did truly love Florence Foster Jenkins, didn't he?
Yeah, it's good that you found him enigmatic and fractionally fishy. That is the intention.
And because, I mean, how did you craft this role? I mean, did you meet people that knew him? I mean, was there much video footage or pictures? I mean, how did you go about kind of getting into the head of this character? Because is this one of the first characters you've played who is a sort of real person, not a fictional creation?
Is that true? It might be true. Yeah, I did read up a lot about him. And I actually went, in New York, I went to the Lincoln Center where they keep all his diaries. He was a keen diary writer. And so, I knew everything about him. But that's only useful up to a point. After a bit, you've got to think, well, what's going to work in this film? And so I sort of 60% the real guy, and then 40% our invention.
Because my grandparents used to listen to Florence, and they used to sort of, when they have friends over, and they'd all just sort of sit there and laugh at the record. And so it's always been someone that I've been aware of in my life. I mean, did you know much about Florence Foster Jenkins prior to getting involved in this project?
No, not really. I'd heard a cassette ages ago.
I mean, I was wondering as well, why do you think we love people like this? I mean, even if in sort of the talent shows on the TV, X Factor and Britain's Got Talent, it's the early stages that I find quite compelling. I don't really watch it when the people who are actually quite good are left in the competition. It's the people that can't sing that sort of grab my attention. What do you think our fascination with people like that is?
I don't know. But there's something very human about people who love something and are pretty crap at it. And I think this film is a kind of celebration of that part of humanity.
Because do you think humans come out quite well in this picture, in the sense that even though she's not in on the joke, there's a sort of admiration for her courage in some ways?
Yes. Funnily enough, I used to think one of the parallels for this film was Ricky Gervais's Extras, where you've got people who just love showbiz and they like being on film and TV sets, but they've never made it. And that sort of just almost demented passion for something, despite a lack of talent, is quite endearing and fascinating.
And I've met Stephen Frears before. I interviewed him for the programme, and I got the impression he doesn't like journalists too much. Maybe it was just me, but he manages to get incredible performances out of his actors across his entire career. He must be a really kind of inspiring director to collaborate with.
Yeah, he's quite eccentric. I think what he is, it sounds perhaps a little immodest, but I think he's very good at casting. And, good directors would always say that sort of 95% of their job is done if you get the casting right. And I expected him to be very interfering and have lots of, steering of the actors and notes. But on the contrary, he was incredibly minimal. So you'd say, what do you think, Stephen? He'd go, I don't know, fine. No, move on, shoot something else.
Because can you find there are obviously different approaches directors have got. No. Do you find that a hands-on approach can sometimes be a bit overbearing? Do you like that freedom to be able to craft your own version of the character?
Yes, I like a lot of freedom and then just a lot of praise.
Well, talking of praise, I actually think your performance in this is one that could be in contention of the kind of awards season. It's got a real kind of feel of it. But the fact it's been released in May would suggest it's not being considered in those terms. Is that something that actors pay much attention to? Or is that very much something that people on my side of the industry are more concerned with?
I don't know. It's certainly something I've never paid any attention to.
And but one person who's always been a real key figure in the award season is Meryl, of course. I mean, what's she like to collaborate with? Because she's just a pleasure to watch.
Yes. Well, it is. It's astonishing. Like I was saying yesterday at the premiere, it's like being on a football field with Lionel Messi, or being in a studio with Leonardo da Vinci. You're in the presence of a kind of super talent, and it's matched with a real passionate reverence for her craft. After a drink or two, Meryl gets quite misty-eyed about acting and what it means to her, and her duty, if it's an emotional moment, to really be there and feeling that emotion. I remember when she was talking all this stuff, and it was scaring the shit out of me, thinking I can't keep up with that.
I'd love to have a drink or two with Meryl Streep.
Yeah, well, no, she's a very interesting woman. Very incredibly bright. It's like talking to a kind of university professor.
Brilliant. Thanks so much for your time today. It's been a real pleasure.
Sure.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey, you guys, huh?
Hey, you guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.